Greetings, Grinders. This is Sean Hugas, aka Duckie Succumbs. We're having our first ever international one-on-one with Duckie today. I mean, it's not a big stretch internationally, but I brought my good friend Chris Lowery, aka Pepsi7, host of many of the Grinders live shows, onto the show today. Chris, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. It's been a great start to the baseball season, and things are going well. How about you?
I'm doing okay. Probably not as profitable as you've been doing, but I think I'm very good at picking the wrong guy on the wrong day. I'm really nailing that this year.
You're consistent.
Yeah, I mean, Kutch yesterday, striking out with the bases loaded against Eric O'Flaherty. It's been that kind of year for me so far. But it just means I'm due, if you go by the old gamblers thing. So.
Absolutely. Dean would approve that.
Yeah, Dean definitely believes in I'm due. Yeah. If I come off a little logy today, I was just talking to Chris about this. I decided to do this is right after lunch. We're doing this, at least for me. He's on the East Coast. I'm on the West Coast. But I had breakfast for lunch today. I decided to go with the pancakes and the bacon and all that. How big of a fan are you of breakfast for lunch?
I love breakfast for lunch or for dinner. It's fun. I was actually just I was in the U.S. not too long ago, and I'd never been to IHOP. So I'd heard about chocolate chip pancakes, which I'd also never tried. So I was excited to be going to IHOP and trying them. And oh my God, Duckie, they were delicious. I've been 3 times since. For like $8, you can eat half the entire restaurant, I think, there. And chocolate chip pancakes, if you haven't tried chocolate chip pancakes, people, don't do what I did. Get on this. This is something you have to try. They were unbelievable.
Considering our audience, I'm sure a lot of them have tried them, but if they haven't, I will concur. Chocolate chip pancakes are excellent. I assume you've done blueberry pancakes too and things like banana. Have you done banana pancakes?
No, I didn't do banana. When I got there, I was with my mother, actually. We'd gone on a trip to Nashville together, and we're hitting IHOP on the way back home. I drove down, and I got some chocolate chip pancakes, but I didn't know if I'd love them. So I got like an 8 stack, I want to say, and 2 of everything. So blueberry, raspberry, I think, couple plain, couple chocolate chip, and I actually ordered more chocolate chip because I was like, well, these are awesome. But I have not tried banana yet.
Yeah, so you had a melange, if you will, to go French-Canadian there for a minute of different flavors and treats at the, you have to, when in America, I think it should be like, in the Bill of Rights that you have to eat chocolate chip pancakes at some point, I would think. But I'm a big fan of banana pancakes. They're underrated. I would say. So
Sorry, Doc, I didn't mean to cut you out there. I was just going to say, also in the States, I think the Cheesecake Factory is an absolute must. We don't have that in Canada. I'm so jealous. I love cheesecake. And any chance I get to go to the Cheesecake Factory, I'm all in.
Well, what's your favorite cheesecake while we're rolling on this topic?
Carrot cheesecake. Favorite. The salted caramel, which is fairly new, I think, last year or so. It's pretty damn good too. But really,
caramel's excellent.
Yeah, I try to always get the carrot cake cheesecake and then a piece of something else I'd never had before, and always hammer a couple of pieces while I'm there.
Oh, you get 2 pieces of cheesecake when you go?
Yeah, try to. I'm going to share it with whoever I'm with, but I'm always craving the carrot cake cheesecake because I go there like maybe twice a year. So I have to have that. And I always want to try something different because there's like, 30 or 40 flavors, and I'm not quite there yet. So,
yeah, I mean, easily I could recommend. I like the key lime. I like the banana cream. Obviously, I've already gone bananas. Pumpkin, when they have it in season, is excellent. There's a variety of choices, definitely, at cheesecake. They just opened one about 2 miles from my house, and I haven't gone to it. It's been open for a couple months. And for some reason, I haven't gone yet. I guess I'm due to do a cheesecake run, to say the least. So, I met Pepsi briefly. As you know, the one final I made in my career, our friend Chris here won that tournament, the FanDuel baseball championships. What year was that? I mean, I forget. Was that 2011? Was it? 2013. 2013. Boy, I'm way off on the years. I guess everything just kind of blends now for me. But so yeah, it's only been 3 years since I made a final. Okay, it's not as bad as I thought. I thought it's been like 100 years since I've been in one. But what when you were in that tournament, what was your expectations first? Did you expect you were going to win? Did you just take a flyer? What was your plan, your strategy when you got into that final?
Well, I'd been there the year before, 2012. I also won a qualifier there, so I learned quite a bit there. I felt like I made some mistakes, and I knew going back that I wanted to make sure that I was perfectly good with my lines. The biggest thing was going no matter what happens, I'm confident with what I have. I wouldn't have changed anything. This is the way I want to go. So the year before, I'd done some last minute tinkering and was a little bit frustrated with what I wanted to try to do there. So this year I was confident. I felt like if I loved a player at a certain price point, you stick with them in all the lineups as opposed to trying to diversify just to be different. And that worked out very well for me because I had 3 guys at all 4 lineups, and I had Devin Mesoraco, a catcher, on 3 of those 4 lineups. So they're very similar, the shells of the lineups. And I remember thinking as I was going up the elevator and the games are going to lock and we're heading into Rotogrander's room that they'd rented there, and I'm thinking, no regrets. I love what I did. This is what I believe in. No matter what happens, I'm good here. And I didn't really have expectations. I knew there was a big prize, and I thought, hey, I'm excited I can win some big money, but not in my wildest dreams that I expect to win it or even dominate it at all.
Yeah, I almost went with Mesoraco that day. I don't know what talked myself out of it. I think it was just he was lower in the lineup. I ended up going with, Jason Castro, I believe, that day, who did okay. He did okay, but it would have been a big difference but I have no regrets. Let's get that out of the way. So, you're from Canada. They have a new prime minister in Canada, for those who don't know. The son of a former prime minister. You have Justin Trudeau. How is Justin Trudeau fever taking over Canada right now? How's that doing?
I think he's more popular outside of Canada than he is here, to be honest. I'm not really much into politics, so I don't follow it a whole lot, but I know he's gone around a few countries and they're all in love with him because he's good looking and whatnot, but I have no idea what he's done since being prime minister, to be honest. I'm pretty neutral in the mood.
Oh, no, that's okay. You feel fine. Yes, he's very popular here. I think there are a lot of people, depending on how the election goes, that are considering moving. Have you had anybody talk to you about moving up to Canada at any point during this time?
Beers is pretty worried about Trump getting in there. Beers, Dean, and I think someone else said the same thing. How much room you got over there? So you're all welcome to come to my place. I got a few extra rooms here, and if Trump becomes the next president, board up here in Canada.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it'll be a party at Pepsi's house. We can make this happen. So, you live near Toronto, so you're near the border of U.S. Even though it's only a matter of less than 100 miles, I guess, right? How different is that 100 miles between the two areas, would you say?
Yeah, it's quite different, I guess, because in my case, I can be to Niagara Falls, New York, is the quickest I can cross the border. I could be there in about an hour and a half. And it's pretty, it's kind of ghetto-ish in that area until you can kind of get into some of the nicer cities. So once you're in a typical U.S. city, there's not a whole lot different between Canada and the U.S. And all of North America is pretty similar. Some of the U.S. cities are a little dirtier, I would say. Canada tends to be cleaner, I guess, but and more expensive. Canada's certainly more expensive as well, but aside from that, there are a lot of similarities. I mean, the differences are minimal. You've got a couple restaurants we don't have, and different places to shop and things like that. You guys had beer in your grocery stores and gas stations. We never had that until 6 months ago.
Oh, wow.
You were only allowed to go to the beer store at the beer store or the liquor store. You couldn't buy alcohol anywhere else. So there's a few things like that. But for the most part, if you drop somebody in Toronto or Ohio, it's not a whole lot they're going to look around and see that. You wouldn't know you're in a different country necessarily, I don't think.
So you're saying Toronto's the Ohio of Canada. Is that what you're saying, right? That's
not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, typical city. You're not going to be like, wow, where am I? I mean,
yeah, I know. I'm kidding. Right.
So if nobody's been here, there's not a whole lot different. But most people will tell me it's cleaner, a little more expensive, that sort of thing.
Going with the Toronto thing, there's 2 important things right now that are current. I'm sure you've already had your Roughneck Odor rage pacified on Grinders Live. If you haven't, I'm willing to give you a forum to let it out, but I assume you've already let that out on in public. Am I correct?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not. Dean and I actually had a show together on Monday right after. It's funny because he hit me up on Skype and said, "Man, did you watch the game? What are your thoughts? We should have a show together. That would be perfect, having a Canadian and a Jays fan coming on." And sure enough, we had the 5:30 show the next day, so we kind of got it out there. But I'm not a biased guy. I'm a fan of Toronto, obviously, but my brain plays a bigger part than my heart. So I don't blame Odor. I mean, I'm a shortstop myself. It's a dangerous slide. He could have hurt him there. He was clearly coming in to take him out hard, if not hurt him. And really, Odor had nothing to do with the situation. I mean, if Joey Bats was that upset, he should have charged him out, I guess. Or maybe he was fuming after he got hit. Who knows? But I don't blame Odor for hitting him.
Yeah,
I really don't.
Well, I mean, coincidentally enough, you are a fighter yourself, so you've been you've done some MMA training. Am I correct?
Yeah, I've done some training. I've had 5 fights.
Oh yeah,
and yeah, I would have done the same in his position.
That's what I'm thinking there. Yeah, how'd you do in your 5 fights, by the way?
Yeah, I got absolutely destroyed in my first fight. I was never so sore in my life. I could barely walk after my first fight, but bounced back to win the next 4. So it was probably a blessing in disguise. Oh
yeah, no, that probably helped you out a lot. Yeah, you never really see MMA fighters being undefeated. That seems to be one of those sports where 12-8 is a record that you see quite often, in high leverage fights. It's not one of those. It's not like boxing where they baby the guys for the first 30 fights and give them tomato cans usually.
And you learn so much more from losing. I mean, when you're winning, you're not necessarily fixing things you're doing wrong because you're not aware of them. When you lose a fight, like I learned so much from that first fight. I think it's what propelled me to that next level and allowed me to dominate a few more fights, using some of the tricks he did and changing some of the ways I went about it. And you learn so much from losing. That's why too in the UFC, if you watch, a guy will lose a big fight and then come back and just roll off 5 or 6 wins in a row and become a totally different fighter because he learned all of those things from that loss. So more so in that sport than any other sport, I feel like you learn a lot more.
It's kind of, I don't know the quote completely, but it's like, plans go away when you get punched in the face. That kind of,
yes.
Yeah. Okay. That kind of.
It's all good until you get punched in the face.
Yeah. Exactly. I haven't been punched in the face since 6th grade, so it's been a long. Oh, no, that's not true. 8th or 9th grade, somebody punched me in the face, but I stayed on my feet. I was very proud of that. They didn't knock me down, so I'm not ready for MMA yet. But do you have a fight coming up anytime soon, or are you retired now?
I have retired, actually. A buddy of mine fought in the UFC for a while. Sean Pearson is his name. I'm good friends with him. I play hockey and baseball with him, so he kind of got me into it. And then when he went, he was still climbing at that point. When he got into the UFC, he had very little time for me and training and coaching me and all that. So I kind of got out of it there. And of course, my phone's going off. Sorry about that. And
okay.
He has since retired. And I started training again. I got my nephew who just turned 18 training as well, which is great. But I'm not looking to get back in the ring as I get older and get my face beat in. So I'll spar. I'll still train. I enjoy the sport. But I'm not interested in having an official fight anymore.
Am I correct, though, that during one of the Grinders parties, you were showing Draft Cheat a couple moves? Is that...
No, it was you and I and Dean were sitting around and Draft Cheat somebody else, and we're watching a fight Friday night, having a good time. Everything was great, and maybe DC had a few drinks, and all of a sudden he just lands a kick on me. He just literally, it was a good kick too, like Joey Bats would say. He put a good one on me. I give him credit for that, but out of the blue, he kicks me, and I'm not talking about a little kick. He drove me with a kick. I'm just like, what the hell is this? So I had to show him a couple things real quick and let him know that he can't do that.
And he hasn't messed with you since, I assume, after that.
No, we have a lot of hype about us taking a fight in Vegas on one of the Roto Brothers parties, but it's yet to happen. And
I mean, while that would be great, I don't see that happening anytime soon. So, unfortunately, I would be glad to do the play-by-play if that ever happens. So I'm available for you. Going back to Canada, the other main Canadian thing, since you're in Toronto, how do Toronto people deal with Drake, the sports fan?
I think he gets more bashed in Canada than everywhere. I'm not a big fan of Drake. I'm a huge music fan in general. Yeah. I don't mind some of the stuff. I'm not a big fan of Drake in general, and I think Canadians are probably more irritated with him than anybody else is. He's pretty popular.
Yeah, that would be. I mean, he's popular here, but I think as a sports fan, everybody kind of makes fun of him. And
Yeah.
I assume that's the same in Toronto. It's not, you don't feel a local defense toward him, I assume, right?
No, no, I'm not that guy anyway. I mean, I feel what I feel. I don't care what race he is, what country he's from. Yeah, I don't care. I just I either like him or I don't like him. I don't care who, what, where, or when. But yeah, Drake annoys me more than anything.
Oh, did you watch Degrassi High though when you were younger?
I did. I love Joey Jeremiah. I mean, that was a great show. Jeremiah. Well, I'm trying to think of some of the names in that show now. That's showing my age off a little bit there, but
Oh,
yeah.
it's okay. I'm older than you. Don't worry. It's fine. So, I mean, the fact I know Degrassi High, I mean, it's sad in its own right, but
Was that in America too?
What?
Did they have that show in America?
They
Obviously?
did. I mean, I didn't watch it regularly. I think they used to run it on PBS, actually, public broadcasting here, if I recall correctly.
Okay.
I wasn't much. I limited my high school soap operas to Beverly Hills 90210 during that time. It kind of did enough. That was enough for me at that point. So
That was popular here as well.
yeah. Well, how could it not be? That was quality
Yeah,
television, to say the least.
Yeah.
Who would you say is the biggest Canadian celebrity? Period. I mean, not necessarily currently, but during your lifetime, who would you say is like the biggest star from Canada during that
If I go with
time?
sports, I'm going to go with Wayne Gretzky. I mean, even though you're not
Sure.
a hockey fan, everybody can name Wayne Gretzky. He's shattered every record known to man in hockey. So I think he's the guy that is recognizable everywhere. As far as pop culture, maybe John Candy? Is that?
Yeah.
I mean, I love John Candy.
John
He's pretty
Candy's
funny.
great. I was thinking Michael J. Fox might have been the answer, but
Yeah.
John Candy would be good too. Any of the SCTV guys would probably be fairly, up there on that list. But I'm a huge SCTV fan. If there's anything Canadian I like, it's SC. I have the DVDs, the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm with
So, but God, we were running fast here. It's like I think I got through most of my questions right now. I forget how fast pace we go when you and I start talking, to say the least. But just give me a moment here. It's the pancakes doing this to me right now, I think, at the moment.
Did you have anything other than banana pancakes?
No. I went with straight buttermilk this time. The place normally doesn't serve breakfast at lunch. I had to talk them into serving it. So it was, I went off menu. I'm special that way. I get to do that. So it's,
You're kind of a big deal, They should be doing that for you.
Well, yeah, I think whenever I walk into a room, they should automatically assume off menu when I do that. So
it's like going from Cheers to walk in.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There are places I walk into here in LA where they know what I want when I walk in. I do have some minor pull. If that's the small. Yeah. The owner comes up, shakes my hand, does the whole thing, gives me my table. I do have a few places like that. So.
And then the girls come over shortly after.
I wish it was that easy. Yeah, it's Los Angeles. It doesn't happen that way. Los Angeles, pretty much, unless you're carrying a large amount of money on you, you pretty much do not get and even some people I know that are wealthy, it's not that easy. LA is the ultimate grass is always greener city. People always
Tony
assume.
might get that service.
Yeah, it's I don't know how's dating in Toronto. How would you? I know you're married now, so it's but I mean, compared to other places, how would you say? What's the scene like? How are the women in Toronto? Should I be moving to Toronto? Do you think would that be a wise choice for me as a bachelor?
I've never really dated outside of the Toronto area or Canada for the most part.
Okay.
I've been married a while. Been with my wife for. We've been together, married for about 6 now. So not dating a whole lot these days, to be honest.
No,
I guess it's pretty good. I mean, a lot of culture in Toronto, very diversified. You know what I mean? So I mean, there's a wide variety of whatever you're looking for, I guess, and. I don't know. I mean, isn't most of the dating done online nowadays anyway? You can pretty much pick and choose what you want.
I guess so. Yeah, I'm a little behind on that myself. So, we're not here to talk about my dating problems, though. Even though I'm sure people would love to do a show on me talking about that, but we'll save that for another time. I'll bring on like a psychologist or something like that.
Add it to your greatest hits videos. Have like your greatest interview moments, and then you can add that piece to it, like unseen footage. That would help.
Oh yeah, we could do it. We could do it as like an Easter egg on the DVD. Yeah, that kind of thing, where it's a hidden thing that Sean talks about his dating problems with noted psychologist Dr. Phil or something like that. You know,
just best dates and worst dates.
Yeah, I mean, we can make this happen, I'm sure. Once this show gets big, because we already know how huge it is right now. I mean, that's it's already that big. But by the way, who do you like in the Stanley Cup right now? So we're down to 4 teams. And I'm not going to let you be biased that I'm a Penguins fan. We'll just take that out of the equation.
What I don't understand is, how does Tampa Bay keep winning? You lose your best defenseman, then you lose Steven Stamkos. Then you lose your goaltender. Well, I mean, they didn't win a game after losing their goalie, but they almost did. I'm shocked with this team. If Strawman comes back and Stamkos comes back and Bishop's injury is not too bad, you're in trouble, Duckie. And that Tampa Bay team's going to win the playoffs. But I think it's wide open. I think St. Louis takes out San Jose fairly easily. 5 games, maybe 6, but fairly easily. The Eastern Conference, man, this is a coin flip right now, and you better hope these guys stay hurt, because if they come back and get healthy, I think Pittsburgh's in trouble. And I think at this point, St. Louis is the best overall team, assuming that completely healthy.
It's very interesting, because this reminds me of the Kings team from a couple of years ago, where you didn't know anybody on that team, and yet they keep winning. They seem to be built for the playoffs or something like that. It's just because I still can't tell you a single player other than Stamkos and Bishop on the Tampa Bay Lightning. And I've watched 2 games, and I still can't tell you a name of a guy that plays on their team. And yet they're dangerous.
Yeah, they're a deep team. They got 3 lines that can score, a 4th line that checks really well. Their defense is very strong, 1 through 6. And, of course, Bishop's a solid goalie. So when you play that team style and you can play defense and you can score, I mean, you got what it takes to win a cup.
Well, what is your feeling about Kessel leaving Toronto and playing for the Penguins right now in the playoffs?
We were so happy to get rid of Kessel. He's lazy. He's way overrated. He plays when he wants. He's a guy we're happy to get rid of. We didn't expect him to be this bad. I thought he would blow up and score 50 goals playing with Sid.
So did I, yeah.
And all that, and we almost kind of felt like, did we get enough, really? A first-round pick and this Kapanen kid who was not really a top prospect. You know, it kind of felt like Kessel's going to go off. He's still young. He'll score 40 goals plus a season, and maybe we lose. But we got rid of a contract. We're rebuilding. It made sense. Well, geez, after the first couple of months, we were just, wow. I mean, I know he's turned it up a little bit. He played really well with Nick Bonino, but this is a guy that I think even you can agree is way overrated. This guy's just times and frustrating.
He started off poorly. I thought he was going to get 50 goals right off the bat. And he seems to have picked it up for the playoffs. He's a sniper when he gets within range. But yeah, I mean, honestly, right now we have three elite scorers on our team, and they have like 4 goals between them. So, yeah, I know. It's like right now it's like Bonino and you know, all these guys from Hershey are kicking ass. I can't figure it out, but hockey. Here, make your pitch why playoff hockey is the best thing in sports to watch, because I'm sure you agree. I think playoff hockey is amazing on TV. So
it is amazing. I'm a bigger baseball fan than I'm a hockey fan, even though I'm from Canada, which is unheard of here. But playoffs in hockey are phenomenal. I mean, first of all, fast pace, big hits. You get few fights, but they still happen. And after any series where, you know, like basketball, where you're playing 4 to 7, you could go 4 rounds deep. You play a team, even if you don't know them. After 2 or 3 games, you hate each other. So the rivalry builds immediately if it wasn't already there. And you know, the body checks, the high-flying pace, the saves, the goals. I mean, there is excitement over almost every single shift by any sport. And that's why I think hockey is such an entertaining game.
I referred to overtime hockey, specifically playoff hockey, as the angry sex of sports.
Yeah, that's because any moment it's done or it's you know,
there's a lot of rage, there's a lot of tension,
Yeah.
if you're either very disappointed or you're very happy with the end result. And
Yeah.
it's all
Ultimate low.
emotion. It's all energy.
Yeah.
It's
Ultimate low and ultimate highs. That's a tough one because, in baseball, if you give up, a walk off, I guess, is probably the only thing that's similar. In basketball, you got your 5 minutes where you're playing there going back and forth. In hockey, it's one and done. You make one mistake, game over. That could be the series of the year for you. And you also, or I guess baseball is similar in extra innings, you can go an extra overtime period to triple overtime. We had some games go triple overtime, and you're playing the next night again. The game ends at 4:00 Eastern time. It's crazy. So maybe nothing better than playoff overtime as far as sports and hockey.
no. But right now you're saying you think it's going to be Tampa Bay St. Louis in the final. Is that your prediction for the final right now?
That's what I go with, and I'd take St. Louis to edge them out.
Well, if St. Louis plays Pittsburgh Cards, I want a piece of you. I'm just saying, Cards. Just throwing it out there. Put it on tape. But we got to win one in Tampa. So, but Tampa, well, how do you feel about Tampa not letting fans from other teams sit in certain sections? Have you heard about this?
Yeah, I know.
That they won't let them wear the jerseys.
Yeah, I've heard some teams try to do this and stuff before and kind of police it. I don't like it. I don't. It's ridiculous to me. If you're not filling your stadium with fans of your own, that's an issue then, I guess. But I don't think you should be policing that. Funny enough, I just came back from Tampa watching a Lightning game there, actually. It's a really nice arena, so I really enjoyed it there. But I was not wearing a Leaf jersey or anything like that. I was just watching the game and actually cheering for Tampa. But I don't think there's a need to police, fans from other teams and stuff. That's what sports is all about. That's a lot of fun. I don't think there's a need for that.
Well, I think they get that with baseball a lot down there. Like if the Red Sox are in town, it's the Red Sox fans take over the entire stadium and things like that. I agree. I don't believe in policing, but they just have to be better fans down there, I guess. That's really all there is to it. So, well, I'm going to let you go because we got to do lineups before lock. I know you're probably already ready, but it's only about an hour or so before lock. We got to go check Kevin Ross weather report and everything like that. See? Synergy unplugging on the show. And what's your schedule like this week? Are you going to be back on Grinders Live this week anytime soon, or?
Yeah, I got a show Friday at 5:30 with Dean and my boy Zach Miner. Always a good show having him on board. So the primetime show 5:30 Friday should be a full slate. That should be a good one.
Okay, well there you go. I thank you, Pepsi. You're a good friend, and hopefully I'll see you at the Grinders party wherever that's going to be this year. I don't know where they're going to plan it, but or maybe I'll make another final in the next 3 to 6 years. Anything's possible. Maybe I'll see you there at that. So good luck to you.
Always a pleasure.
What?
Sorry, I was cutting you off the ties. I said always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure. Good luck to you. And everyone, I don't know who we're going to have on next week. I've got to decide on that. I've thrown a few things out to a few people, but it could be a special surprise guest. Or it could be my brother and I just talking for 20 minutes. I don't know. Anything's possible. So until then, we'll just put Dean on again for another hour. He'll be happy to do it, I'm sure. People will be sick of us by that point. So, but no, hopefully we'll come up with somebody good next week. And until then, we're out. Take care, guys.